The forest was not the same. Its energy had shifted, deepened, and Anna could feel the subtle hum of the land, like the heartbeat of a living creature, beneath her feet. The trees whispered their ancient secrets, their branches reaching out to touch her as she passed. The birds no longer flew just for survival, but for purpose, for they understood the new world they were entering. The clouds that once sailed aimlessly in the sky now seemed to hover, heavy with unspoken messages. Anna adjusted the pendant around her neck, feeling the warmth radiating from it. It was more than just a reminder of her destiny. The celestial gem flower was a living force, a being that she could connect with, if only she understood how. Its power was tied to the very fabric of the world, to the forces of nature, and to something far more mysterious, something she had yet to fully comprehend. The pendant had become her guide, her source of strength. And she knew now, more than ever, that the task before her was greater than she had imagined. She wasn't simply protecting the flower, she was preserving the balance of the world, ensuring that no force, be it dark or light, could upset the delicate harmony that held the realms together. Anna took a deep breath, her resolve stronger than ever. The figure in the forest had been only the first of many. The ancient forces that sought the power of the celestial gem flower were still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. But Anna was no longer just a girl in the woods. She was the celestial guardian. And she would not falter. As days turned into weeks, Anna began to notice more subtle changes in the world around her. The winds that used to sing softly in the trees now carried strange, distant voices. She could hear them calling her name, soft and mysterious, as if the very earth itself was speaking to her. One afternoon, as Anna walked deeper into the forest, she heard the whispering winds grow louder. It was no longer just a breeze, it was a chorus of voices, all calling her name. Anna, they whispered, their voices melodic and urgent. Come. There is more to learn. The time has come to fulfill your destiny. Anna hesitated for a moment. The forest was quiet again, but the air was thick with anticipation. She knew that this was no ordinary call. The pendant glowed faintly against her chest, as though responding to the winds. With a deep breath, she followed the call, her footsteps light and sure as she navigated through the dense trees. The path led her to a clearing she had never seen before. It was vast and surrounded by towering stone pillars, each etched with ancient symbols. The air was thick with magic, and the ground hummed with a power that made Anna's heart race. In the center of the clearing stood an altar, an ancient stone table covered in intricate carvings. Atop the altar rested a crystal, glowing softly with a warm, golden light. The pendant around Anna's neck pulsed in response, as though recognizing the significance of the crystal. The whispering winds had brought her here. But what was this place? And what was this crystal? As Anna approached the altar, she could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on her. The crystal on the altar seemed to vibrate with a soft energy, calling to her. She reached out, her fingers brushing against its smooth surface. The instant her skin made contact with the crystal, a surge of energy rushed through her, so powerful that it nearly knocked her off her feet. Her vision blurred, and she was flooded with images, visions of the past, present, and future. She saw the first celestial guardians, the original protectors of the gem flower, whose purpose had been to ensure the flower's power was never misused. She saw the rise and fall of kingdoms, the wars that had been fought, and the balance that had been lost over time. But most importantly, Anna saw the truth of the celestial gem flower. It was not just a source of magic, it was the very essence of life itself. The flower contained the power to create and destroy, to bring balance to the world, or to unravel it. The visions faded, and Anna found herself kneeling before the altar, her hands trembling. The pendant had stopped glowing, but the energy it had given her still surged within her. She understood now. The celestial gem flower was not merely a tool, it was a guardian in itself. It needed a protector, someone who could wield its power with wisdom and compassion. Someone like her. With newfound clarity, Anna rose to her feet, her mind racing with everything she had learned. The journey ahead would be more difficult than she had imagined, but she was no longer afraid. She had been chosen for a reason, and she would not fail. She turned away from the altar and began to make her way back to the heart of the forest, her steps firm and confident. But as she walked, she felt a disturbance in the air. The winds, once gentle and calming, had turned sharp and cold. The trees around her began to sway, their branches twisting unnaturally as if something was pulling at the fabric of the world itself. Anna's heart raced as she realized that the darkness was closing in. The figure she had faced before had not been the only one seeking the power of the celestial gem flower. There were others, darker, more powerful beings who would stop at nothing to claim the flower for themselves. And they were coming. "You are foolish to think you can protect the celestial gem flower," the figure said, his voice like the rattle of chains. "It belongs to the forces of darkness. And I will take it from you." Suddenly, the ground beneath Anna's feet cracked open, and from the depths of the earth, a dark figure emerged. His eyes glowed with a malevolent light, and his presence chilled the very air around them. Anna's hand flew to her pendant, feeling the magic within it stir. "This flower does not belong to you," Anna said, her voice steady, though her heart pounded in her chest. "It is not a weapon for destruction. It is the source of life. And I will protect it." The dark figure sneered. "You are too young to understand. But you will learn. And when you do, it will be too late." With a wave of his hand, the world around Anna seemed to shift. The ground trembled, and the air crackled with dark energy. Anna's heart raced, but she stood firm, summoning the power of the celestial gem flower. Light exploded from her body, enveloping her in a shield of radiant energy. The dark figure roared in fury, his form twisting as the magic of the flower clashed with his dark power. The battle had begun, and Anna knew that this would be the greatest challenge of her life. But she was no longer alone. The flower's magic was with her, and she would fight to protect it with everything she had.